Hello, I'm Chuck Perry, Superintendent of Broken Arrow Public Schools, and it's my honor and privilege to serve in my hometown. And I am blessed to stand on the shoulders of the innovative educators and community leaders who came before me. They could never have imagined how the decisions that were made years ago would affect the trajectory of our schools. But the foundation they built has served our district well since 1904. As you may have heard, we are asking voters to consider a bond election in November. This is our chance to build on the foundation we've inherited. It's our chance to secure the future of our students with an investment that will not raise taxes if approved. But before I ask you to cast your vote, I want to tell you exactly what's included in this bond package. It's more than I can cover in one short video, so my team and I have created a podcast series that will launch one episode at a time over the next few weeks. I hope you'll tune in and add your voice to the conversation happening in our community. And don't forget to get out and vote on November 14th. And always remember in Broken Arrow, the best is yet to come.
Hello and welcome to the Secure Our Future podcast series. I believe this is episode 6.
I think so.
On the agenda. And today we're going to talk about what is this bond to me? And we're going to talk to a couple parents. And also we have Broken Arrow Public Schools Foundation board members and president. Tara, why don't you introduce our special guest today?
Absolutely. With us today, we've got our current foundation president, Jenny Dolan.
Thank you.
And you might be representing other groups too. I know you've got a student at the high school who plays basketball, and
couple alums.
There you go. And then we also have Miss Charla Lane, and she wears many hats. We were just joking with her before we started rolling about how many name tags that she has. But today she's representing both the PTA council and then also the foundation. So Charla, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So let's kick things off, and I want you guys to introduce yourselves a little bit. We got the brief intro there, but tell us a little bit about your background. Jenny, we'll start with you. You talked about having some kids in the district, alumni as well. So tell us a little bit about your experience with Broken Arrow Schools.
I do. So I have lived in Broken Arrow for about 30 years now, which really dates me and so strange. I like to say I'm married in to the district because my husband is an alum, and Broken Arrow is the biggest small town, right?
Class of what for your husband?
87.
87.
So we've gone to many class reunions. I know many of his class friends, and it was one of the things that I loved most about Broken Arrow is the fact that there is that hometown feel. I grew up moving around a lot and didn't ever stay in one school. And so it's been really cool to watch my kids go from pre-K all the way through high school and the many avenues they've been able to explore. And all three of them have done it differently. So it's really cool to watch that.
Yep. So as Mr. Perry likes to say, they're BA lifers.
That's right.
Yeah. So Charla, what about you?
I grew up in the area. I'm Sapulpa girl, so go Chieftains, but also go Tigers. My kids are Tigers. I have a BA grad last year, and I have a current junior in the district here at the high school.
All right. So anything you want to talk any more about that before we kind of move into the bond issue stuff?
That kind of gives our listeners a good background about why you care about the school district. You're vested, which we appreciate.
So in your guys' terms, from a parent perspective, you guys have been here now and had some kids go through at least 2 bond issues, right? What does a bond issue mean to you, and what do you guys know about it? And when you get, you probably get more questions than the average parent across the district about bond issues and things like that. So what do you tell people?
I'll let Charla start.
Well, a couple of the other bond issues that we've had have been really big and exciting. Lots of additions like buildings and, field houses and all kinds of
a lot easier to explain.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they're much easier.
New schools.
Yes, new schools, new facilities, and they're exciting, and people really get behind those kinds of bond issues. But that's really what I know. Like we've been through a couple, and they've been very exciting and fun. But this one's a little bit different.
Jenny, what about you?
For me, I think for bond issue purposes, I think they give extra opportunities for our kids and our staff to have good facilities, to have great internet access, to have all the things that, if we had an extra budget, we could do more with. And so you're so limited in our school budgets based on what you get from the state and the federal government, and then, the other types of grants and things that you can get. So I know that bonds really come in handy for our administration to be able to do the bigger things that we all want for our kids, right? Nobody wants them to go to a bad school or a ill-equipped school.
Tara, any thoughts on that?
I was going to say, to Charla's point, it has been difficult, I think, to come up with messaging around this bond issue, because there are no, as I'm in charge of the communications department, and there are no flagship items, that we can show cool new renderings of this school or that school. And so you're right, it is very different than the past couple of bond issues that we've had, and that's presented some challenges.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the last two, probably $600 million and worth, all these new schools that we have and so many things. So, without those, we wouldn't be the district that we are today. But this is a very important bond issue in its own right. And with that said, what are some things on this issue that excite you guys the most?
You want me to go first?
Jump in.
Okay, so I am excited about two things. I'm super excited about the new transportation. I think it just makes sense to have a bus barn on the other side of Broken Arrow. We just moved from the south side of Broken Arrow to the north side of Broken Arrow. So I remember those days of shuttling kids and busing and all of that. So I'm super excited about that.
And Rosalind will get on to us if we don't say transportation hub. Right?
Sorry, transportation hub.
She made a joke on the episode that she was in, is about a barn is where you put animals.
Yes.
Sorry, transportation hub. And the other thing I'm excited about is updating the technology. As we know, technology changes tomorrow it'll be outdated, but it's super necessary to keep everything updated at our schools, because we're supposed to be producing young people that know how to use the technology. And so if we're not giving them the opportunity to have fast internet and things like that, then we're not really giving them the tools that they need.
I think for mine, it's a little bit different. I'm the Broken Arrow PTA Council President, and part of my job is to advocate for kiddos in our district. And one of the things that I need for our kiddos is that they're safe. They're at a temperature where they can learn, so those parts of the bond issue are really important to me. Fixing our roofs. I don't want kids having drops on their heads while they're trying to learn. I want them to be at a proper temperature, so I want our AC units to be updated. And I know that goes into saving energy for our schools. And when we have those really old ones, they're not doing what they should be doing. Mm-hmm. And so those things are really exciting for me on that level. On a very personal level, my son is in the tennis program, and I'm pretty fired up about some tennis upgrades.
Yeah, much needed.
Yeah, currently we can't play after dark when all the area districts are able to host evening tournaments. Yeah, but we're not able to do that currently.
Yeah, very important.
We don't have that problem in basketball.
We do have lights. Yes, that's good.
Sorry.
So, and you talked about the HVAC units and things like that. If you're watching this and you haven't seen some of the previous episodes, go back. And I was at episode 2 or 3 that we talked with Roger, and just the sheer amount of, need for those projects is tremendous. But, like we said, you guys are very involved in the district, in the community. What do you want voters to know about Broken Arrow schools and this bond issue? What are some misconceptions and things that you guys have to make sure and clear up to people? Or in some matters, how do you continue to, champion and promote the district from as a parent and a board member of the foundation?
I think as a foundation member, I'm really glad to see that the district is looking and forecasting for the needs that we have, especially with our HVAC and things like that, because we don't want to get in the situation where it's dire, right? Because then they're going to come to the foundation first and then to the public next, right? And so we know that everybody would much rather be fundraising for the fun stuff, right? So this gives us the opportunity to take care of the things that we need to take care of. It's kind of like your house. Like, nobody wants to replace their air conditioner in their house, but it has to be done, right?
You want to get that new flooring and the granite,
right?
Redo the bathroom.
So you need to plan ahead, and I love that we're doing that and making the safety upgrades that we're talking about making. Those are all really, really important. And let the foundation continue to support and fundraise so that we can put in the fun stuff for you and help you that way. Because it's not fun to fundraise for, stuff that you just have to do to keep good maintenance.
And Jenny, you might take just a second for any listeners or our viewers that haven't heard about the foundation. What is the Broken Arrow Public Schools Foundation, and what's the mission of that group?
Thank you. So the Broken Arrow Schools Foundation is primarily here to be a support system for the schools, whether that is helping you guys find volunteers for things or fundraising for certain activities. We're super excited to champion the BizTown event that happens for all of our fifth graders. If you've ever had a fifth grader go through school here, it's pretty awesome. They get to go to BizTown. It's a pretty big deal. It's going to touch every fifth grader, and it costs the district about $50,000 to do that. So the foundation is going to take care of that this year. We also partially fund project graduation and Teacher of the Year,
And of course, the grants. I
Grants,
believe the
teacher,
deadline.
thank you.
The deadline is
grants
coming up pretty
coming up.
soon. Is it October 23rd? Is that what I saw? Am I right on
I
that?
think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any teachers out there watching,
Oh,
let's
and
make sure
also,
we'll put that link maybe right here where they can find it.
Yes, that would be great because that deadline is fast approaching. And then also we have our Read to Succeed program that touched every second grader this year and put 4
Yeah.
books in every second grader's hands before the summer.
That's awesome.
So there's a lot of good going on. So if you're interested in getting involved, certainly reach out. We'll help you get involved with the foundation. But if nothing less, go follow us on Facebook.
And so that's some of the fun things that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
That there
Those
is
are
a
the
lot of
feel-good
enjoyment.
moments,
Yes,
right? We want to
yeah.
make sure that all our kids have access to those things.
And you guys had the golf tournament yesterday. And I believe I
did.
saw we raised 31,000, or you raised. I didn't have anything to do with it. But
It was one of our most successful golf tournaments to date. And so we're super excited about the community that came out and supported, and we'll be able to use all of that to support our students. And that's the cool thing about working with the foundation is every dollar goes back into our community. It's not like it's going farming out to other communities. It's staying right here.
Fair. Any further questions along those lines that you want to make sure we hit on?
That's a tough one to follow. What would you say?
Well, it is tough to follow. However, one of my main jobs is to get people out to vote. We advocate in all kinds of ways, and voting is definitely one of the things that we promote as Broken Arrow PTA Council. And so because of that, of course, we want people to get out and vote. And of course, we want them to vote for this new bond issue so that we can get, so that our schools can have equity. We've got a bunch of new shiny schools, and then we've got a few older schools that definitely need some maintenance and upkeep. And we definitely want parents to know that, you know, the school wants to do those things, but to have the finances to do those things is going to come from this bond issue.
And our PTAs do a lot of fundraising too, really at the site level to try and do some more of those fun activities. But what's the mission of PTA broadly?
Broadly, it's every child, one voice. So we advocate for every kid here in the district, really at the state level and a national level as well. But really, PTA is kind of why there's a child nutrition program. It's why we have kindergartens. It's why football players wear helmets. We were the first to advocate for those brains in our football players' heads. So there's definitely a lot of always been safety has been kind of at the top of our list. And so, of course, we want these schools to be safe and equitable for each of our students.
That's a really good trivia question for a future podcast, Greg,
Absolutely.
about the
Why
Why
we have,
we have
why we have
helmets.
helmets? Yeah. Was that a national thing or more locally?
No,
Or-
National PTA school lunch program, youth justice programs. There's all kinds of things that can be attributed to the advocacy at the national level.
leave it to moms to solve the world's problems. I
right.
love it.
Absolutely.
So you touched on this a little bit, but talk a little bit about the importance, and you guys have dealt with this about flatly getting people out to vote for this, because a lot of times, people come out and vote for the big elections and things like that, but sometimes they'll make assumptions that that'll pass. People will, you often hear, kind of more feedback from the people on the negative side of things instead of the people that are just purely like, Broken Arrow Schools really needs this. Talk a little bit about that.
I personally think, getting the message out to people. We've been working on that. So our Facebook page is Broken Arrow PTA Council. We've done programs where we promote voting. We hand out voter registration at our back to school programs that we do. And so we are definitely very active in getting people out to vote, and we will continue to do that.
From the tennis mom perspective of things, what are some things that the tennis program, the coaches, the kids, what are they doing?
Yeah, in fact, I just talked with Coach Milner today, and he is doing a fantastic job with that program. All of the coaches are. It is a great program, and it affects 7th grade through 12th grade, which is a little bit unusual in our athletic department. Not all of them span that far. But they do a fabulous job out there with our tennis kids, and they definitely deserve and need upgrades to that area. And we will definitely be talking more to those parents.
All right, so I want you guys to complete this sentence for me. People should vote on November 14th because. Jenny, we'll start with you.
Because this is our community, and we can't make our community better without a collective effort.
Very good.
Because our students deserve it. We have amazing students that are doing amazing things. I just got the opportunity to meet with a Vanguard student about a week ago, and it's unbelievable what our students are accomplishing in this district, and our students are worth it.
Tara, any final thoughts before we wrap it up? Any final questions?
I'm just so appreciative of parents like the two of you that are involved. I think there's plenty of research that shows the impact that parent engagement has on student learning, and we seriously cannot get enough of it here at Broken Arrow. So if there are parents out there wondering, how do I get involved? I mean, these are two great organizations to get involved with right here, the PTA Council and our foundation. They offer a lot of ways to get engaged and to really make a tangible impact on student learning, not only your own student, but also the other 20,200 students that are in our district. So I just appreciate all the many hours of volunteer work that the two of you do and that the organizations you represent do each year. We couldn't do it all without you.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. And you all do a lot of work for our kids too. I mean, we see you out at everything, and it's your job, but it's the extra hours are not your job. So we appreciate what you do too to make our kids enjoy school.
The passion is evident.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you guys for stopping by the ArrowVision Studios here for this podcast of the Secure Our Future podcast series. If you have missed any of the previous episodes, be sure and check those out. We've got 2 more after this one, and then it'll be November 14th here before you know it. We're just a little, by the time this comes out, we'll be less than a month away. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure and subscribe to all of our channels, and we will see you next time.